Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on in. Season 1 on its way to its grand finale as we are here tonight with the penultimate COD Ireland Season 1 stream. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on in. My name is Zepcast and you are watching COD Ireland. Today we have some phenomenal games for you in Division 1. The last few games before the grand finals, which will take place tomorrow, where it is all on the line. €700 on the line for Division 1 here between these four teams. Only two of them are going to be able to get a little bit of the cut of that prize money, and that will be decided here this evening. We have Fluxx Esports in the losers round 4 taking on Insufficient Funds, which should be an absolute bang out of a game. And then we move on to a game that's arguably going to be even better than that, because we will be moving on to the winners final, where we're going to see Fluxx Esports take on OTG's Billy is Funding. Billy is Funding with almost a shock victory, if you will, against Fluxx Esports, sending them down to the loser side. So a team to beat now, and probably the toughest task yet for Fluxx Esports. However, we will not be done there. While there will be a winner going through to the grand finalists, we will be going on to game number 3 straight after, where we will see the winner between Fluxx and Insufficient Funds take on the loser of Faceless and OTG's Billy is Funding. The winner of that game then will be going on to face the winner of the winners final. It gets confusing, but roll with me here, as these teams all face up against each other and realistically are going to run into each other more than once. And you've got Fluxx and Insufficient Funds, who have a tougher task ahead of them, in the sense of, when, even if they make it to the grand finals, they have to do a bracket reset. Because that's right, folks, we don't do the best of 7 here. We don't do just the elongated. The losing side has to come about with a bracket reset, win the first best of 5, and then do another best of 5. So the losers bracket side has a very long evening ahead of them regardless when they get to the grand finals. But the question of who even gets there, and it's really hard to say who's going to get there, right? I mean, we have a lot of really fantastic teams. Like, it's only fantastic teams that are left at this point across both divisions, with Division 2, the grand final for that already being set, which will be broadcast first tomorrow, where we're going to have KP's Minions facing up against LA Robbers, two absolute titans of the division that fully deserve to be where they are, both getting a moderate cut of a prize pool that is, albeit a little less, still nothing to scoff over for players of that level in Division 2. So we'll be really looking forward to seeing how that one shapes up. But for now, as I said, it is Division 1. And you have some top teams. I mean, Fluxx Esports just has absolutely top level players alongside Faceless, alongside OTG's Billy is Funding. And when it comes to this Insufficient Funds roster, they're a roster that I don't actually know of that well. Now, people will forgive me, I should know more than I do when it comes to rosters in the COD scene, but I am woefully horrible with it. You'd think as a caster I'd know a little better, but I don't. And so it's really, really interesting to see, especially with this roster, because the rosters that I've seen at the top end, I have definitely heard of them throughout, but I hadn't heard much of Insufficient Funds, all things considered, and the fact that they have made it this far is an absolute testament to them. But they really do have their toughest task ahead of them yet, because they did face off against Fluxx Esports at the beginning of the playoffs, and they lost that series 3-1. So it is a case for Insufficient Funds that if they want to get through to the losers final, they need to hit a major regain here tonight. But anything is possible. We did see Fluxx Esports get knocked down to the losers round by Billy is Funding, so truly just anything can happen here at this point. It all comes down to the series that is ahead of you. The reputations don't matter, the form doesn't matter. It's about, here's the series, best of 5, win what's in front of you. That's all that counts, and that's what makes it so entertaining. It's why we absolutely love Call of Duty. It's why we're here, and just really, really excited to get these games underway. And on that, folks, I'm sure you're itching to get going, and we're going to be a touch late in getting these games started. It does say that the games are to start at 7:30. That is, of course, not happening here, as you can tell already, because it's past 7:30. We're going to be starting map 1 kind of closer to 7:45, just as we were a little delayed on our end getting things set up, and it turns out that a player is actually a touch late in getting ready anyway, so it worked. It made perfect sense. So we have a little bit of time here to kill, per se, in terms of just getting ready going into this one. And it's also going to be very interesting to see who you think is going to be able to come out on top. Make sure to let me know, folks. Do you think Fluxx Esports have what it takes to go through to the losers final, or do you think that Insufficient Funds could do a job here, get through to the losers final, where they'll face against either Faceless Esports or OTG's Billy is funding? Let me know what you think. It'd be really cool to see that sort of underdog story come to fruition, so to speak, that kind of moved through and beat some of these teams, and especially be able to beat Fluxx, considering that they lost at the beginning of the playoffs. So it should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to get into this, and I hope everyone at home in the audience is doing well. I'm seeing over 20 of you in here already. Really do appreciate you being here, checking it out early. And yeah, we just had some fantastic games here tonight. It's what I love about going into this and the way that we have done this playoffs. While it's been sort of a congested couple of days for these teams, without a shadow of doubt, it's still really nice to be able to go and say we have a fantastic game for game one, and that's only the beginning of our night. The fact that we just get to keep going, keep seeing these games and how these teams perform, just makes it really exciting to be here. And I hope you are as excited as I am, because as I said, you know, when it gets to this point where you just have a certain number of teams left, right, it really does just go completely up in the air, right? Like, the predictions, they start to go out the window, because for the most part of the season, bar a couple of matchups, you're going to see teams where, look, one is the favorite and there's going to need to be an upset, or I could see this one being a 3-0, especially, you know, with COD Ireland. We're a new league, it's new systems to a lot of players who have been involved, especially in Division 2, haven't actually played in leagues before. So it's a very new ecosystem to them, and there's a lot of variance within that ecosystem in terms of skill level, right? So unfortunately, just when you're setting up first seasons, and there's always going to be mistakes involved, as much as you try to get it as accurate as you can within a season, there's going to be skill disparities, and that absolutely came to fruition this season. You would see some skill disparities. You would see some 3-0s, maybe more 3-0s than you would have liked to have seen. However, you get through, you get to this point. Every team who's gotten this far now deserves to get this far, because you don't fluke your way this far. You don't fluke your way to a winner's final or a loser's round 4. Everything that you've done up until this point proves the level that you are as a team. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward then to seeing how these teams get on. And I also do apologize, my hair is sitting just awfully, absolutely awfully. I know that's what everyone was thinking. That's definitely not the vanity in me whatsoever. But folks, without further ado, I'm looking at the time. Yes, without further ado, I want to take you on a little look at how these teams, in particular Fluxx Esports versus Insufficient Funds, performed against each other throughout the course of the league this season. You've seen this graphic before if you've tuned into the playoffs before. We'll show it to you again. And folks, there you have it. Arguably, stats-wise, one of the most evenly balanced teams throughout the Division 1. Now, it is worth noting, I'm not too sure on how it worked for Insufficient Funds. I can't quite remember off the top of my head in terms of how many games they actually played and if the losses came through maybe forfeits or whatever they may be. But what I know happened with Fluxx is that they had a team and they played, and it was like a contentious loss, and then the other game was a game that was mutually forfeited. So it's where, in order to make sure people aren't avoiding games to benefit them in the stats, the whole thing is really, unless we can see that one team was really making sure that they could try and play the game, they weren't getting the win if a forfeit needed to come in. Both teams were getting the loss. So Fluxx have only actually lost one game during the league season, and then one game during the playoffs, which is why they're down here in the losers. They lost against Billy is funding. So they're a team that hasn't dropped much throughout the course of the season. And as you can see, 23 maps won, 10 maps lost, a 70% win ratio and 21 points. And I can already tell you folks as well, considering we've covered quite a lot of Fluxx this season, you know, there was a couple of games that they played in where the maps dropped were just due to going lax because they knew they had teams dead to rights anyway. They were just one of those teams, or they weren't maybe seeing through things as much at certain times, which could come back to bite them in the backside. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that as a bragging right for that team. If anything, it could potentially be to their detriment. But you go over to the side of Insufficient Funds, you also have 7 wins and 2 losses, with 21 maps to 9, also 70% and 21 points on the board. So all in all, pretty even, it has to be said. You know, Insufficient Funds, a team that, as I've said before, has really surprised me throughout the course of this season, because I just didn't know that much of them. But they're definitely staking their claims as one of the top teams in Ireland, that's for sure, and they should be very proud of their run to get this far against such top tier opposition. And yeah, I am really happy that they're here, and I'm really happy that you're here, the viewer at home. It's always a pleasure to have y'all sitting here checking out the games, enjoying COD Ireland, and honestly the support that everyone has shown for COD Ireland this season has just been absolutely fantastic. I mean, when we started COD Ireland and conceptualized the idea, when I put forward on the table for season 1 that we were hoping to get 24 teams, they were like, Zep, you're crazy. We're not going to get 24 teams. Season 1. Zep, you manic buffoon. You deluded cretin. How could you possibly think that we were going to get 24 teams? And I said, I don't know. I've just seen it. I definitely wasn't just hitting and hoping. No, I've seen it. I've seen that this could happen. And, you know, lo and behold, we ended up with about 40 sign-ups, a couple that didn't get through last minute. We went into this season with 38 teams. So the support that all of you have shown to COD Ireland has been immense, and as I've said already, we've had our ups and downs this season, absolutely, and we have held our hands up for how these playoffs have gone in terms of players' availability, working towards schedules, and meeting players in the middle in terms of, you know, needing to do scheduled broadcasts. And it's definitely something that we will look to work at improving in future. We're already due to have a big call in regards to season 2 as an admin team. So we actually finish the league, as I said, tomorrow with the grand finals. And when it hits to Wednesday, we're hopping on a call, getting the prep for season 2 and implementing the things that we want to implement to make stuff even better for you as the player. So trust me when I say the players are being listened to, issues are being dealt with, and we're going to try our hardest to make season 2 even better than it was in season 1, as season 1 very much the proof of concept, the startup. So the fact that you've still shown so much support throughout that, and the fact that through some broadcasts we've had over 100 people watching is truly just something to be so thankful for on our end, and we absolutely are super thankful for that. So thank you is what I'll say. How many times can I say thankful and thank you until it rings true? Apologies, folks. I'm just, my monitoring thing here at the bottom has gone all weird, but I think we are okay. And we should be nearly ready to get ourselves going into this game as well. I don't know how delayed the player is. We did say for 7:45 when we get the game started. So, you know, we are on track. We're not going to be too long. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, and I see Bernadette LR coming in as well, showing the support for Fluxx. Welcome in. Really do appreciate you. I've acknowledged that very late, even for the minute delay. I apologize. I am semi out of it today. It's been a lot of casting over these playoffs. It's been a lot of fun, but it's been a couple days. It has been a couple days. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I want to get showing you the maps and modes that we're going to be playing in this series. The modes are never a surprise, but the maps, they may shock you. Let's take a look. It's map number 1. We are going to be loading into a Vault Hardpoint, which should be super interesting to watch. Vault Hardpoint, you know, Vault's one of those maps, said it once, say it again, we'll say it many more times. A relatively safe map to pick on respawn due to the way that it caters to variety. You know, it just works. It works. You've got the long lanes for the AR to dominate, but a lot of short lanes for a sub to be able to get through and work advantages for themselves. Very much an all-rounder map that's a safe pick, and if you're feeling good as a 4, you can do a lot of damage here. And then moving on, ladies and gentlemen, to Protocol, Search and Destroy. FPS Sunny as well in with the follow just there. Thank you very much for the support and the follow. But on the Protocol, Search and Destroy, it's a map that, again, it changes it up from this, from the Vault, right? Because you have those long lanes of sight up above ground from P2 looking across from the top windows, long lanes of sight, but it's this underground area where the subs are going to be able to get through and get past the line and cause the issues. So we may see a lot of first blood picks, but when it comes to the subs actually getting around and getting into those key areas, I think that's going to be really important to see how that map plays out and how they control the map. And folks, speaking of control, you've got map number 3 where we're returning to Vault, this time for a little bit of control. And I've said it before, I think Vault Respawn plays very similarly to each other in terms of how it benefits you as a player, the positives that you can take into a game as a player. The long lanes of sight, the short lanes. The only difference is with that prime focus really being on A, You can do a lot of damage in there with the subs where the ARs maybe won't be quite as powerful. And then, ladies and gentlemen, if we go this far, we will be moving on to Hacienda for a map number 4. And I have to say, I do love watching over a Hacienda. It's a newer map. It's a little more chaotic for these teams as they're still trying to, you know, ultimately learn the maps and pick things up. You know, it's tough when a newer map is in. But I've always really enjoyed Hacienda, even in Black Ops 4. I did enjoy it. And, you know, it's just fun to watch. It's hectic. You can tell people are still trying to figure it out. It offers things that the regular maps in the game don't have. So I just find it really, really interesting. And then, ladies and gentlemen, at the very end of it all, we will be moving to a Skyline Search and Destroy. If we go right down to the wire, we're completely changing it up. A short-range map, not many lanes of sight. Very simple in the way that you play it. It's usually aggressive towards one side, but then maybe sometimes pulling back and going on the defensive, maybe going sneaky underneath. There's many different ways that it can be played, but not as many as, you know, I would say it has more ways than Vault Search and Destroy, we'll say that much, but not as many as some other maps. So it's a very direct map where both of these teams are going to have to be comfortable going quickly against each other in those moments. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. These are the Division 1 playoffs, your maps and modes for this game. The losers round 4, Fluxx Esports versus Insufficient Funds, Vault Protocol Vault, Hacienda and Skyline. And of course, on your screen as well, you can see the map bans that are in play, what these teams decided to keep in and get rid of. I believe that's correct anyway. You know, sometimes these teams, when they're putting in the map bans, they don't communicate everything very well at times, so I'm potentially not entirely accurate there, but for the most part pretty accurate. You can get an idea of what's being chosen for the maps. You can tell, well, maybe something was banned for this reason. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, those are your maps, those are the modes, and you also need to let me know in the chat as well who you think is going to come out on top of this one, right? I know I've touted them up a lot, but there's for a valid reason. I do think that Fluxx Esports are very much favorites for this season. They were in those top teams, they were in the contention, they really truly wanted to go through and win the whole thing, and genuinely I thought they were a team that were going to be able to plow through the winners round of things. But bilious funding, credit to them, came in, threw them off the mantle and put them down into the losers bracket in a shock victory in what was a terrific game to watch. Now Fluxx Esports, they have the harder fight ahead of them. They need to win this, they need to win the losers final, and then they'll be going on to a grand final tomorrow if they can do that, where they have to play against a team in a bracket reset matchup, which is just going to be incredibly difficult to do for that lower team. So they have a fight ahead of them, Fluxx Esports, but they're a team who's ready for a fight, and Insufficient Funds are just a team that have already proven that you can count them sometimes as down, but not out. They lost against Fluxx Esports before, but will be looking to rectify that here today. See if I can get a code off these boys so we can get ourselves into the lobby. As we wait, I believe these teams are in the beginning phases of being ready to go, so fingers crossed we'll be able to get this to you as soon as possible. Again, I will draw your attention to this. The head-to-head between these two teams throughout the season. Remember, Insufficient Funds did lose to Fluxx Esports in the playoffs in the first round. However, you look at how their seasons panned out. Granted, there's a couple of differences in here due to, you know, forfeits, whatever it may be. But these teams are very evenly poised. The map win percentage is very similar. The points, I say very similar, they are completely similar. And then the points completely even as well. You really do just have two top level teams who could really do the damage against each other. It's absolutely possible that, you know, you have Insufficient Funds come in, shock Fluxx Esports. If I had to give my prediction, right, as a caster, if I had to give my prediction, if I had to try and read into what I think is going to happen with this one, I think we're going to be in a situation where either Fluxx Esports can come away with another 3-0, 3-1 scenario that we've seen before, or we see Insufficient Funds take it all the way. But one thing that I would be worried for Insufficient Funds about taking it all the way to a map 5 is that I have seen Fluxx at times play some really good games on Skyline. So the fact that we have a Skyline Search and Destroy to end it all would be something that is worrisome for Insufficient Funds. But in saying that, they are a team that is pretty damn strong when it comes to the search and destroy, arguably stronger than Fluxx based off, albeit the little that I have seen. So it is one that's up in the air. I think when it comes to your vault respawns, those are going to be the maps where Fluxx are feeling the strongest. Those are going to be the ones where they feel like they're going to be able to take advantage, because again, it's such an all-rounder map. It encompasses just so many elements of how you play Call of Duty, short range, long range, as a team. It's not a singular element that works in that map. It is a collaborative effort between the team. And it's one of those few maps in Call of Duty as well, especially in a hardpoint respawn, where the tropes of a Call of Duty hardpoint kind of ring true, right? It's important to anchor the spawns. It's important to play map control to rotate. There's a lot of points on a lot of hardpoints in this Call of Duty where you can very much hold from front, just cause anarchy, play it quick. I mean, we can go back to, if any of you remember Call of Duty Vanguard, the kind of bocage hardpoint and that, and how absolutely chaotic that was. That sometimes is the feel of a lot of different maps in this COD, but Vault, again, very much about your rotations. P1 hectic, huge spawns for P2, P3 in the middle, but you're also, while playing for P3, trying to anchor a P4 spawn. So tactically, it just works. It just makes absolute sense, you know, in that regard. And again, because of that, you have it as an all-rounder where there's just multiple different elements to that. But folks, I believe we are nearly ready to go. I will take you back to the map mode screen here. You could take a look at the beautiful map and modes that these teams will be playing in this game tonight. And again, just do let me know who you think is going to come out on top of this one. Do you think Fluxx Esports are going to have an easy enough day? Or do you think Insufficient Funds are going to come through, cause a massive upset, and get themselves through to the losers final? Losers final on the line here in this game, and only the first of 3 games that we have for you this evening. So it should be a whole lot of fun. Make sure not to go anywhere. We will be back with map number 1 in just a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize for the delay, but it looks like we are getting the lobby code in now. So fingers crossed we'll be getting underway in literally just a couple of moments. Believe me, these delays, they hurt me as much as they hurt you. Game 3 doesn't begin until 10:30, so if we're delayed till 11, half 11, I'm here all night. I'm here all night and I want to go to sleep. I'm a tired man. I'm a very, very tired man. But hey, one thing that will absolutely keep us awake is the enormity of the pressure on both of these teams, COD Ireland. Truly, no bigger moment than this. I don't think I'm over exaggerating when I say for these players, this is probably the most important moment in their entire recorded history in gaming or not, and is the most important moment that they ever will have. It's only downhill from here. They have really peaked. This is their peak. They are at the pinnacle of the mountain, the tippy top. Who wants to be in the CDL when you can be in the losers round 4 of Division 1 of COD Ireland? Am I right, folks? Can I get an amen in the chat for that? But ladies and gentlemen, we do have all 4 of one roster in. I'm sure that the next 4 are going to be in as quickly as they can, zooming to the keyboards. Of course, I hope they're not actually using the keyboards in game, as we are controller only. Anyone who tuned into the first few COD Ireland events will know that that was an issue back in the day. But players, I think, finally recognizing the fact that Call of Duty is indeed a controller competitive sport. But we're seeing teams beginning to load in now to here, where we are going to be on Vault Hardpoint, as you could see in the first map, and then moving on to Protocol Search and Destroy. It's very nice that we're actually getting a varied map pool if we go beyond the 3 maps. I mean, Vault, it's one of those ones you're almost always going to see it at least once and most likely twice, but in terms of the rest of the maps, it is really nice to see that variety. But I'm going to touch wood when I say that, because in the last broadcast we did, I said in one of the maps that I was very happy not to see Vault, because it's very much like Tuscan from Vanguard. I've seen it all the time. And we had game number 1 where we didn't see Vault, and I was like, this is amazing. But game 3 was nothing but Vault, or game number 2, sorry, was nothing but Vault for all 3 maps, and it broke me. It broke me. I could only take so much Vault, especially in Search and Destroy, where it's like, oh, they're pushing A-bomb, they've planted A-bomb. I mean, come on, as a caster, how much can I embellish an offense on that map? Really, I try, folks, but I am just one man. But ladies and gentlemen, they are loading in. We should be ready to go really soon. Again, with just it being so close now to the grand finals and how important this is for every single team, we're just making sure that every team has their streams up. We're making sure that they're all ready to go and streaming the way that has been requested of them as well. Again, it just is important to make sure that we're vigilant on these types of things, because these are the money games. This is where when it begins. Like, can we play mouse and keyboard in season 2? I would honestly love to create a mouse and keyboard separate league. So we have our controller league, we have the COD Ireland league, and it runs its divisions. Imagine a mouse and keyboard only division. That would be unbelievable. We'll throw them 50 quid. We'll throw them 50 quid for the prize pool, and all the keyboard and mouse players can come in and lock on to everyone and have a lot of fun. We'll put something like that together at some point. That would be hilarious, I'm sure. But folks, more people are joining in. They are just taking their sweet old time, as COD players usually tend to do. But yeah, folks, again, just do let us know. Who do you think is going to come up on top? If map number 1, it's going to be that Vault Hardpoint. Who do you think is the number 1 on that one? Do you think that we are going to see Fluxx decimate in that? Do you think Insufficient Funds are going to cause them a surprise? Do you think we're in for one hell of a 5-map series? Or do you think a team is going to make it a swift 3-0 here? Let me know what you think in the chat. And if you're watching on YouTube, let me know what you think in the comments, because we put all these VODs, although we've missed the last batch, which I will get to, but all these VODs are going up on our YouTube as well, and YouTube is actually going really well for us, folks. Over 100 subscribers on YouTube and growing. A lot of watch hours as well on the VODs. If it keeps growing the way that it's growing, within the next 6 months, we'll be able to actually do potentially a road to applying for partners. So your support already on the VODs has been amazing, and if we can continue to make, or I say continue like we've actually started, if we can start to make YouTube original content, which is what we would like to do, it will go a long way to boosting our YouTube to partnered, which would be absolutely fantastic. But thank you very much for the support that you've shown on YouTube already. So I believe we are nearly ready to go. Everyone's in. We'll switch you back over to the map mode screen as we go through final checks. Map 1 underway in just a second. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Map number 1 getting underway. Losers round 4 between Fluxx Esports and Insufficient Funds. One of these teams finishing their run in COD Ireland Season 1 tonight, and best of luck to both of them here. A pivotal moment each game is at this stage, but who is going to be warmer going into this first map? Who's feeling their shot? Who's going to need to improve? We will soon find out. Once again, best of luck to the both. Fluxx Esports, Insufficient Funds, as we look to get this one underway. What a beautiful knife we're seeing being twirled around there. It is truly majestic. We start on board with none other than Lenzo. What's the play? Rushing up mid, straight to Cat. Gonna get the prees. And picking up the kill. Fluxx picking up a nice first 2. Nades coming in to the door. They are cleaning up around the point, but Hectic got one before being taken out. And this has been a great start from Fluxx. Getting the holes. Salty picking up 1. Checkerboard a kill feed now where Insufficient Funds have got on the point. It's nice that they seemingly have patched Codcaster. Of course, you can tell the hint of sarcasm in my voice there, because we still have the Codcaster issue, as the update today just seemed to make the game closer to completely breaking again, as opposed to fixing anything. However, I digress. Salty with a terrific start now, 5-1. Just swinging left and right with those prees. He is a man who has most likely inhaled his G Fuel this morning, as he takes more shots round the back. Salty, the king of back shots. 27-2 now. Insufficient funds on the point, trying to hold from the back, with DB just getting great timing, sliding around the side, and then opting to hold from the front rather than chal out the back. Again, Fluxx just making sure they get as much time as possible. Insufficient funds have lost the spawns as well, and so far I have to say it is Fluxx Esports who do kind of have complete control of how this map is playing. Insufficient funds having to rely on moments, but Fluxx dictating the pace, picking up the kills. Even when they don't have the spawns, they are making it work. But Hectic and Lofty combining for a couple of kills. Lofty with another. And this is what I mean by moments. Insufficient funds, no slouches either. Picking up a couple of kills where they need to. And sliding around the side now. Lofty picking up another huge kill. And the awareness there to make sure to pick that up. As Murphy picking up one. DB with another. And Fluxx are going to have the scrap. 56-22 as we go on to P3, where you can see it's a 2-2 fight over there. Lofty had been taken out, but Xavi still holding a key position to pick up kills. We're seeing his teammate spawn behind him, knowing that he should be safe in his position. And one of those points where, almost like P1, sometimes you make it be such a way where you don't let any, what would you say, you don't let anyone on the point, very similar to P1. You just kind of keep both sides off it as you prepare for the money hill over at P3. But Murphy being taken out. Hectic and Lofty combining for more. Lofty going round the side, out the back. They've recognized the spawns of Flip. Lofty's going to have a huge bit to play here. He's in trouble. Needs to hit the reload. Needs to pick up this kill, but he's going to get shot from both sides. It's a checkerboard, a kill feed once again, but those kills more pivotal for Fluxx, who are looking to hold the spawns over. That's huge from Hectic, but he got traded round the back. And Hectic needed to play his life there, but now having lost spawns, Fluxx Esports getting a little bit of that scrap and are rotated on to what could be considered to be the money hill. And they absolutely know where insufficient funds are coming from as well. Going to be able to funnel them through the one way. It could be a bloodbath. They're kind of stacking over each other a little bit here. As DB, or Lenzo, my apologies, picking up the two as he pushes around the side. Just want to be overzealous and maybe flipping these spawns, but he's pushing up enough. He knows what he's doing, as he's just dancing around this side, rotating out now to make sure to play his life with his side. But he is popping off of that sub, 11-8 and on a 4 streak. Having a great game. Xavi eventually picking him up though. Checking the back, being taken out. DB holding the pre, going to pick up one. Picking up two. And now DB on the 5 streak. He didn't have the best start, but now 10-6. Again, Fluxx Esports really finding their footing here. They've controlled these points immaculately well, as we're going to go back to P1 and there's going to be nearly a 100-point difference. While insufficient funds, as I said, have had their moments. You look at the kills, you look at the key moments, it's all come from Fluxx. And then to have a player already at this point with 1 minute 40 on the hill, on a 5 streak as well, he is just picking up the kills. Even whenever a player from insufficient funds does get close enough to do some damage, it doesn't matter because DB's there in the cleanup. And now you're seeing this kill feed, it is just being painted red, as insufficient funds, not only maybe a team outmatched skill-wise, but I've gone into this one definitely not as warm, which they are suffering for. But again, you have players that are trying to do things for them. You have Lofty, who is popping off, actually, apart from Salty, having the most kills in the game. So having a really good game itself, but again, it's what I've been saying so much through. It's kills in moments. It's getting a 2 or a 3, but never in positions where they're actually able to make that count for time on the board. And that is the crucial key element. And then you look at the KDs across the board as well. Slim and Xavi just not able to keep up with Fluxx at the moment, the way that they are playing. Just as a unit, all 4 players really having moments where they're popping off, whereas insufficient funds just relying on a few. And it's just not good enough. As Lofty, though, around the back, a key player in a key position, could do something with this. He's going to pick up one. And he's going to child the hill from the front with 3 dead. Shirley gets pinched in the back, and that was a terrific break from insufficient funds, who buy themselves a bit of a lifeline at a key moment. Fluxx with one more clean hold, and this game is virtually gone from insufficient funds. So They had to do it in this moment, and they absolutely have. But for how long can they hold on? Again, Lofty with another 2, and Lofty gets set up with that AR. He is a really, really strong player. But a player who often likes to get set up in these key positions as well is Murphy, as we talked about before the last time we saw him on broadcast. Seemingly the definition of an old school anchor AR player, who I believe is actually getting a PC very soon. So joining the ranks of people who will moan and complain. I bet the game feels better on PlayStation, if I had to be honest, folks. I mean, I haven't touched it on PS5, but if I had to hazard a guess, I'd say it would be. But on to P3 now. Fluxx are rotated. Insufficient Funds got a lot of time back in that P2, but they also need to be getting a bit of map control. They can't just be relying now on getting the 1 point. They need to get in, start flipping these spawns the way they need them to, rotate between points well, and still manage to hold time on old, because double the points difference still for Fluxx. Even playing for scrap time at this point would be enough to send them through. Insufficient Funds, they need some clean holds, they need some clean rotations. They need to just switch a lot of things up, and they need to do them now, running out of time. The push coming in with the pistol, Salty, wise to it though. Picking up that kill, or maybe it was Salty, maybe it wasn't. Cardcaster, again, it just likes to lie. But only 15 seconds down at this point. Fluxx Esports looking very likely to get over the 200 point mark, but just in saying that, getting taken off with the nade. But then a huge 2 from Salty. We're really slaying with those AR as well from time to time. And even Murphy now I'm seeing in moments having the sub out as well. They're just playing well with a variety of weapons. But now onto a crucial P4 where, again, you look at the spawns being completely held by Fluxx, who have once again just found themselves exactly where they need to be at the right time. And now 200 to 83. Insufficient Funds. They did get round the back though, so they have a chance. But again, Fluxx are a team that can hold from front. DB with a team nade. Maybe that's the opportunity that Insufficient Funds need. As Slim's going to pick up a huge kill. Going to try and get the second, and pops off with that one. No one coming down that street. He'll know that's just going to be clean from the right hand side and from the middle. Trying to play his life here, challenging a kill in a strange way. I think a Hellstorm just came in there, didn't really do much, but now Fluxx trying to rush through the middle. Only one person left in Hill, but Xavi with 2 before being taken out. Slim there, but gets taken out by Lenzo, who picks up a huge 2 now on the point, and we're going to be rotating back at 2P1 with Fluxx not needing that much time and over 100 points in the lead. Insufficient Funds had a great chal on that point on that P4, but maybe just not enough for them. As we now return to P1, Slim picks up 2, DB picks him up, and DB, or Lenzo I believe now, in the killing spree of 5. And I feel like every single player on the side of Fluxx has been on a 5 streak at one point, which I think is a testament to how ready they are for this as a 4, you know, recognizing the importance, you know, maybe took their foot off the gas pedal playing through the winners final, getting humbled and realizing that this is their last chance. So needing to make it count. And AJ with the first time chat as well coming in. Appreciate you coming in, folks. Remember, if you're enjoying what you're seeing here, please do consider following the COD Ireland Twitch. It does help us out a lot. And if you can subscribe as well, please do consider it. If you have Prime, you can subscribe for free. It helps support us to help bring you leagues, tournaments, and in-person events, which we are still ongoing in discussions for 2025. Multiple in-person events for you to be excited for. Irish Call of Duty is well and truly back. And Fluxx Esports well and truly might have this map number 1 under lock and key. No one's going to be able to get to that point in time. They have it locked down 250 to 121. And Fluxx Esports come away with map number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, 250 to 121. 250 to 121. How many times would I say that so I remember the number so I can input it on the graphics for you guys? Little trick of the trade for you. If you ever hear me repeat that number lots of times, it's not for your viewing experience, it's so I can remember what the hell the number actually was, because I have a brain like a sieve. But ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Fluxx playing a spectacular vault hardpoint, leaving Insufficient Funds with a lot to do as they got over the 100 points, but we're nowhere near the driver's seat. And I think it has to be said that Insufficient Funds are going to have to rely a lot on their search and destroy prowess if they want to give themselves any chance of coming through this series, because that vault control is going to be difficult. And maybe Fluxx are just different gravy on a hard point, so they may not fancy the hacienda either. They're going to have to pick up 1. But if I was the side of Insufficient Funds, I'd really be looking at the search and destroys being my key to victory. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, after that update, I was hoping that it fixed fix the fact that private matches crash now at the end of every game. It indeed has not. We have to reboot the game up, get loaded back in, get the lobby together, and get ready to go, which would hopefully only take just a minute. So don't go anywhere, because map number 2 is going to be getting underway in just a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to get underway with map number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, best of luck to both these sides, as this is a crucial map for them both. Fluxx Esports, they win this, they go one map away from going into the losers final 3-0. And you know, going back to a vault control is something that I think they'll be very happy with. But of course, we'll see if Insufficient Funds can get the win here. And it shakes this series up massively. Lenzo going down low. Throwing a little stun out to A. A little Semtex while he's at it. But Slim picking up the first blood. As he's just going to hold the angles. Rotate out. Hectic and Xavi though combining. Next thing you know, DB, you're the last alive. How are you getting out of this one? You're not. And Insufficient Funds taking round number 1. Doing it in the way they needed to. They needed to start off strong here. They cannot let Fluxx Esports garner much momentum. They gotta go fast. They gotta just, again, as I said, you know, just disrupt the rhythm. Make their lives a little bit easier where they can. We're going to round number 2. See how Fluxx now are going to set up on the defensive side of things. We saw them with a relatively unsuccessful offense. Maybe the defense could be a different story. As Salty going to pre-out the mid, get really unfortunate timing for the hold, and now you realize someone's underneath him. He's in trouble as well. A little bit weak, having to slide around, and Hectic picking up the first blood. Insufficient Funds has to be said when it comes to search and destroy. Really, really good at getting their picks. He's going to take that bomb over towards the B site as well. And, you know, he does have Xavi, I believe, behind as well. Although he's holding that position with a sub. Insufficient Funds got through the map really well. Now 3v4 scenario where Salty, I thought he was getting caught out, but absolutely ripping off the back. But now 2v3 as Hectic picks up one. Lofty in trouble. Rotating out with his life though. Salty and Lenzo, up to you guys. What's the plan? Lenzo, he's weak. He knows he's in trouble. He chucks a nade out. Now a 2v2. Salty on the chase. Going to pick up one, but he's going to get traded out. Just getting a little too overzealous around that corner. And Insufficient Funds is going to take another round. And some clean shots on the right here. Just getting the job done, and it has to be said, insufficient rounds. Oh, they're definitely being sufficient when it comes to their rounds right now. But Insufficient Funds really are just playing well at the moment in regards to S&D, and I believe that was the case as well in the first series that we saw against these teams earlier in the playoffs, where Fluxx managed to beat them 3-1. It's Insufficient Funds, I think, are just really strong S&D team. Again, just Slim with the bait, but Xavi getting up the map. And I wonder if it's a case of angles watched here from Fluxx. Are they falling asleep with some of these angles? Because a lot of the times, they've been moving players up through really key areas and getting away with it. But Xavi now in, trying to pick up one. Again, the timing, I think, just a little horrendous. And going to check for the other, and Lenzo hadn't moved there, which is just really bizarre. The trade's coming in, and Insufficient Funds are going to pick up another round. As Fluxx Esports, it has to be said, a little bit of unfortunate timing here and there. But they're looking a little bit all over the place from time to time. And Insufficient Funds in the way that they're playing as well. When they're getting moved up through these positions, not only are they getting moved up to actually pick up kills, but they're getting a lot of information through doing so. And they're retaining a lot of information as well. Understanding where their teammates have been through. Knowing where people could and couldn't be. And it's just bizarre, almost, how strong they are in comparison to the respawn modes. The Hectic now down with the trophy. And this is going to be early engagements. DB picking up Xavi. The slide across. First blood now going to Fluxx. For the first time in this search destroy, giving themselves the early advantage. Hectic. Not dropped yet. He has the peaks. He knows where people are. Deciding not to go back down. Murphy sitting in the longest lane of sight that he can. Lofty down low. Very much come to a standstill here, but the ball is in the court of Insufficient Funds. They need to get this plant. Couple of tentative shots there. Murphy trying to stay alive. Hectic trying to move with the bomb. Lenzo picking up one. 4v2 now. Hectic going to go around the back. Has Murphy read it. Doesn't look like he has. Shots coming in. He's eventually going to pick up that kill. But now 3v1 scenario might leave Hectic with a little bit too much here to do. But he managed to pick up that Hellstorm and an RCXD. So 2 streaks he'll be able to utilize in this map. And that could be very big for his side. But Fluxx Esports picking up round 1. And a hard fought round. Insufficient funds, they play that incredibly patiently. And maybe getting into the minds of Fluxx a little bit here, letting them know that you may be able to take some rounds off us. But if you're going to, you're going to have to really work for it. Because you're not getting any quick rounds. We will drag this out if we need to. So still in the driver's seat. Streaks in the pocket, 2 rounds up. Do they stretch their lead? Or does Fluxx start to gain momentum and claw themselves back? Lenzo with the bomb. It's going to be a quick drop into A. It's going to be aggressive. It's going straight down, but he peeked too much. But Lenzo, he got the information. 2 players on the stairs. I believe it was 2 anyway. Xavi now going to get pushed in. Shaky shots though. DB's got the kill, and that's a 4v3. Tough to break in now. As Insufficient funds very much look like they're going to try and hit from this mid area, but you do have Hectic trying to get the angle from the stairs. Slim getting the one peek. Salty taking out his teammate, but his teammate is most likely gone anyway. 2v2 now. Salty's healed up. The push coming in. Murphy though holding a great angle, which has really stifled that push. Murphy picks up 1. Salty helps him with the 2nd. And Fluxx Esports taking route 1 with the aggression on A-bomb, and it paid off in dividends. Salty just around the side here to put the final bullet or 2 into the player. Good couple of rounds from Fluxx as we had a slow start, beginning to look like they're finding their footing. Which is bad news for Insufficient funds. They need to stop this. Slim gonna go down low. Stun coming in. Slim taking out DB with the 3. DB with the ace. We only caught the end of it, but my word, DB popping off. Picking up 1, picking up 2. Picking up 3, but there's a 4 in there somewhere. It was actually the 4th. I think we missed the first one on that. But DB cleaning house. And pulling Fluxx Esports back into this one, having it all even. A multi-kill of 4. And he also now has an RCXD in the back pocket if it's needed. Not that it wasn't interesting before, but this has certainly just got interesting. As we'll stay on board with DB, who I think Fluxx are very much favouring the aggression now. It's working for them. DB's just holding by the door. Xavi with the first blood though. Xavi with 2. And Xavi's been getting through all the lanes here, it has to be said, as DB manages to pick him up. Murphy picking up a kill now, and all of a sudden 2v2. Did Lofty spot him? He has. Lofty has made him weak. He's on the chase. Call him Bradley Walsh. He now holds round the back. DB. The timings. The timings. How have they not seen each other? They do now, but too little too late. Moving left to right of each other. Lofty. He didn't spot the player to his left. But neither did the player to his left. COD Ireland sponsored by Specsavers, folks. Lofty. Surely he's going to pick up the 2. He gets 1. Can't get the 2. DB turning in time. 1v1. Massive moment. DB. He's trying to get out, but he can't. And Insufficient funds pick up a huge round. A bizarre round, but one they came up on top of. Slim almost didn't pick that kill up. And if he didn't, you'd think DB would be in a position with that sub to narrow the angles and pick up a kill. So he had to do it there and absolutely did. Round number 8 we're going on to, and we'll go on board with Xavi. Who's again having a good search and destroy here. 6 and 5. What's the play? Stunned out in the middle. Gonna take a peek out left. Does he know someone's here? He's checking. He's seen the head. He's goes for the shots, but Murphy picks up the kill well. Creates the angle. Holds the distance in the gunfight. Make him a really tough player to push, even though he has an AR. DB now around the side. 9 and 4 rotating through spawn here. Just trying to swoop through and pick someone up. Going to be able to get one. Will he get down the shaft in time? He actually holds down there. But getting picked up by Lofty. I completely missed where Lofty was there. He must have been in mid. But he gets taken out by Salty. And all of a sudden, Hectic, the last alive, he has the bomb. Or he doesn't. I thought he did have the bomb, but he does not. He's going to go up top. He spotted one who hasn't spotted him. Will he pick up the second? He won't. And Fluxx Esports take another round. And Geezer, when the next opening to join COD Ireland. COD Ireland Season 2 sign-ups for the league are already live. You can find them on our Twitter. You can find them on our Discord. And I believe the sign-up form may be directly on the link as well. The socials, the COD Ireland card that Delta Daily has posted in the chat. So if you want to get joined into that, make sure to be in the Discord. This is crucial. If you have a team, perfect, get signed up. If not, go to the Discord and declare yourself as a free agent to try and find a team. Sign-ups close on the 31st, with the league beginning in either the 1st or 2nd week of February. It's going to be even bigger, even better. More divisions than ever. RCXD coming in now. Lenzo in trouble. Trying to get out with his life. Hectic taking out Murphy with the RCXD. A great use, but Lenzo snapping there. Make it a 2v2. And Lenzo going to get round the side, and Lenzo having a terrific round. And just like that, Fluxx taking a huge round to go 5-4 up. And 1 round away from being 2-0 in the series. So folks, here we go. Huge round. Insufficient funds, I believe. No, that's it. I'm just going to leave it there. I believe insufficient funds. But no, they do indeed have the Hellstorm still there for use. Surely going to be called out at this point. It's Hectic. Lenzo! What have you done, Lenzo? What did we miss? And now the trade's coming in. Another bizarre round. And have Fluxx Esports sold the jerseys once again. DB. Up top now. Moving wide. Has he spotted the player at Heli? I believe he has. He definitely has now. Bomb down 2v3. And the flank coming in, leaving Salty, the last alive. As we coined him in the previous game, the backshot Baron. How's your bottle? He's now going to get the peek at top at the heli, should I say, not top heli, but to no avail really with those shots. And Insufficient funds control the distance there, and because of that, ladies and gentlemen, we have gone all the way in the search and destroy. Map 2 of game 1 of the evening. It goes to a round 11. Hectic. Barely missing a bullet. And best of luck to both of these teams. A crazy game of twists and turns we've seen here. Fluxx having a round that potentially will sell the map for them. Can they regain? We'll go on board with Salty. Salty and DB. Really strong performers for their side. Salty with the stun going for the check. Does he get a hit there? Is he going to get charged? Did he miss Zavy? But Zavy's going to turn and pick up Murphy. And Murphy's been holding huge positions here, which is huge. Lofty going to pick up one as well. DB and Lenzo versus the world for Fluxx. As Insufficient funds smell blood, they're going to get that bomb planted. Does Lenzo have the spot? He doesn't, but DB does. 2v2 now. Slim and Hectic. This round has been rescued incredibly well in Fluxx Esports. They know bomb is down as well. Picked up one. Hectic. He's in the Hellstorm. for the 1v2. It's now 1v1. DB versus Hectic. Hectic knows where he is. And he has to go and pick up the bomb. And will he go straight for the plant? DB on the move. Hectic gonna play the heli. DB! He gets taken out! And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, Insufficient Funds are going to take map number 2 in round 11. Immaculately played there by Hectic. Knew that he could bait the bomb plant. And made sure not to miss his shots. As if he missed them shots, it would have been all but over, surely. Who, surely? I don't know, but a terrific round from Insufficient Funds. Fluxx had it in the bag at 5-4. But a self-Semtex selling the jerseys for his side. And just like that, Insufficient Funds take map number 2 to tie this series up at 1 apiece. And I think it is fair to say things have just gotten even more interesting as we get ready to go to map number 3 in the losers round 4 of the COD Ireland playoffs. You're not going to want to miss what comes next. Don't go anywhere. Map 3 in just a few. Ladies and gentlemen, map number 3 is going to begin underway in just a second as we just wait for one more player to get in so we can get ready to go. But folks, I gotta say, ladies and gentlemen, sitting in front of you right now, it's been an immaculate series to watch so far with Fluxx Esports playing a terrific hardpoint, then arguably selling the jerseys on a crucial round number 10 in that search and destroy, ultimately leading to their defeat. And could that come back to bite them? We will see. But all players now in. I believe we should be ready to get into this map. I will just double check. Oh, a little bit of heartburn. But ladies and gentlemen, enough of my heartburn. The fire in the bellies from these guys needs to be the passion, not the heartburn that I have. As we load into map number 3, we are going to be moving back to Vault for a little bit of control. And we know that Fluxx Esports seemingly play a great control map. We did hypothesize Insufficient Funds would need to take this to a map number 5. So they'll need to take either this map or the next one. But Fluxx Esports surely looking to get it done right here and now. Best of luck to both of these teams as here we go. Fluxx Esports looking to go 2-1 up alongside Insufficient Funds. But Fluxx arguably on their favourite map. As Lenzo, DB, and Salty all combining for a 3 to get straight onto that A. Last alive is Underground in Zavi, who quickly gets taken out. And already going to be one ticket A as they look to control the site. Surely going to be one more push from Insufficient Funds as Lofty is going to go underneath, pick up a huge kill, and rotate out in his life, pick up the second. The reads, the COD IQ. And he's going to get terrific timing on another who's going to run into his nade as well. The timing's perfect, but the timing not working out from there, and he nearly picks up the kill anyway. But Lofty, an integral figure to be able to get that A cleared out. But now Fluxx Esports back onto it. 1.5 ticks gone already. 24 versus 21. Timer stopped as Fluxx are on the point. Lenzo is with the hold. It's gotten pretty spread out here. As Salty is not going to catch who comes around the back as Insufficient Funds pick up a 3. Going to collapse onto this hill, but not before tick number 2 is gone. In fact, 2.5. So 2 ticks gone already. Looking pretty confident when they actually get in on that A point. But the live still pretty even. Exactly even. 19v19 now. Make that 18 as these teams are very much back and forth against each other on the lives. Now it is just a question of how much damage can be done to the lives of Fluxx Esports here prior to them going onto the B push as Lenzo picks up a huge 2. And now the stack onto point, but Slim with 1. Lenzo trying to play his life. 2 players on the point playing their lives, and they're going to sneak that A and pick up a couple of kills in the process. Lenzo with a second before getting taken out. And now 15v12 in a minute 20 on the board. They're continuing to pick up kills, and they're going to be able to get pushed towards this B site. And if Fluxx Esports can take an offensive round, then Insufficient Funds are going to be in a whole lot of trouble. Kill coming from the side for Slim and Lofty. And Slim picking up another. Last alive is Lenzo, but quickly taken out to even up this live count. And that was an incredibly important wave of kills for Insufficient Funds, who pretty consistently now in moments, as I said, we talked about them at the beginning of the game, when they're down but not out. They often look a bit down sometimes with the way these games are going, but then they just rescue these moments. But Fluxx trying to get round the back. You have Salty, who's picking up a key position. Lenzo going to make his way into Art as well. If he gets the sneak through, he's not actually going to go top, or is he? How will the timings work out for him? He's going to check up top now. He's going to pick up 1, and he's going to pick up that AR. Will he turn to watch? Oh, it's a 4-man down. Huge kills coming in. 8v4 now, and they're stacked on that B point. Insufficient Funds in massive trouble. That was a terrific wave of kills from Fluxx Esports. That's done the damage here, as Lofty is going to try and scramble to get to this point. 1 tick gone at B, and just like that, 7v1, 7v0, as Fluxx Esports come away with round number 1 on the offense, and I believe with about 4 ticks in hand. A terrific offense from them as they demolished their way through on that B. Things looked pretty even. Then just a huge 4 down, completely changing the complexion of that round. And say it did look like Insufficient Funds were just going to be able to hold on. It looked like it was going to be scrappy. It was going to be close, but it could go their way. But that 4 down just completely threw the rulebook out the window. And now on board at Lofty. Getting pushed in to A, dropping down. It's going to be the B play. That has been red, but the trade is quickly there. Are they going to turn for the next kill? Can they stay alive? Play their life. Huge kills. Salty picks up the 2. Hectic eventually going to get the trade, but Salty now pushing towards Hectic. And that has been staved off. Nearly a tick gone at B. But Insufficient Funds were dealt with just about. A big 2-piece. It was actually Lenzo who I believe picked up that 2-piece. Which was huge. DB, Salty, picking up a couple. Xavi with 1. And all of a sudden now, Insufficient Funds are a bit spread across the map with Murphy after picking up that kill there on the wide, but not going to be able to pick up the second as Xavi was aware of his presence. 24v20 now. Insufficient Funds, very split. And it'll be up to Slim to try and take down. Oh, the timing is horrendous. He does turn back though, and he picks up 1. He jumps out the window, but he has been spotted. He's weak. He's stunned. He's playing his life though, holding the distance, but can't pick up the kill. Xavi now on the point, alongside Hectic, who's not had the best start here. 6 and 12. Lofty with a big 2 though. Lofty, who's been the MVP for his side, especially in the respawns. Hectic trying to sit in the point, but Salty with 1 and 2 ticks gone. With Fluxx Esports are doing a great job on this defense. Insufficient Funds, they need an offense, and it's just not happening. More kills coming through. 15v10, 15v8. Insufficient Funds, there's no way they get back to this point. And ladies and gentlemen, Fluxx Esports, they're taking round number 2 here. 2-0 up. 1 round away from making it 2-1 in this series. And a team that are proving once again that it is in respawn that they shine, Fluxx. Meanwhile, Insufficient Funds can do it against the very best in the search and destroys, but maybe it's the vault, maybe it's the respawn, I'm not sure, but they've been struggling on this one. And maybe are going to have to rely on a huge performance and a hacienda to see them through. But the job's not done yet. Fluxx Esports, if one thing has been proven through the runs in the playoffs, is that they can't afford not to be locked in at all times. So they're going to need to continue here, try and make this a swift victory. Xavi and Lofty getting moved up. Salty with the reads though. Going back down, picking up 1. And Fluxx Esports, Salty in particular, reading that like a book. His favourite novel. As he now sits in the point on a 5 streak, getting this B captured as the nade helped him pick up a kill. He knows where 1 is. He's going to pick him up. He eventually gets taken out. Hit from behind. Xavi getting in and out. 1 tick gone at B. Xavi with the hold. Hectic now with 1. Xavi going to get good time and pick up another. And Insufficient Funds now playing a good defense. They have no choice to at this point. They absolutely have to. But at least stifling them on as many ticks as they possibly can. It's Insufficient Funds. And they are going to have to win offenses. The ticks kind of go out the window now. They just are going to have to slay. There is no 2 ways about it. But Xavi's been having a really good run here. However, will his luck come to an end with the position he's picked up? Murphy knows of his presence. Salty taking him out. Surely going to converge towards this A now with only 15 seconds left to go. Fluxx Esports have been pretty nullified this round. Insufficient Funds are arguably the best defense that we have seen in this map so far. Xavi and Lofty combining for more. And just like that, Insufficient Funds take the strongest defensive round that we've seen yet and have a lot to do but buy themselves a lifeline. Huge kills coming in here from Salty, I believe it was at the time. And the Semtex doing the job, then catching them off spawn. It was a great start from Fluxx in that round, but Insufficient Funds, they regained well and kept Fluxx in the back pocket. Round number 4. And Fluxx with that easier defensive job. How will it work? DB gets taken out by Hectic. And Murphy in a huge position. Murphy so good with that AR, but getting taken out from up top. And could this be a position where they get a quick B capture? A quick B capture could really change the complexion of this series as a whole. As DB picking up 1. DB, he's up top. He's weak. Hectic with 2. A tick and a half gone at B and counting. But Xavi watching the mid, and it's now going to be a direct front contest, but that's a huge win. But Xavi has been a thorn in the side of Fluxx Esports these last couple rounds. And that tick nearly through at B, but to no avail as Salty has gotten through. Folks, this series has been insane. 1 apiece here on map number 3. Insufficient Funds taking a round 11 search and destroy. And Fluxx Esports taking map 1, I believe, 250 to 128 or 121. Something along the lines of that. Insufficient Funds, clearly a dominant search and destroy team. And have been struggling on the respawn, struggling on control, but have shown moments here where it looks like they can come back into it, but they're running out of time. They need to get a site captured now. They hedged their bets on B. But now all of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing it. It's a red kill feed. They've been pushed back. They're in key positions, but Lofty has picked up a huge kill. Will he wait for the second? He absolutely will, but he won't be able to pick it up. DB winning that well, or it was Murphy, I believe, who won that well, and on the A side now. Murphy picking up 2. He's on the 6 streak, and he has just gone huge in this moment here for Fluxx to see them through this map potentially. Xavi with the shots taken out though. 10 seconds left. 19v9. Not a point near captured. This looks like it could be it for this map, folks. One last push. It's not even going to happen on time, and Fluxx Esports are going to go 3-1 on this map to take it and to go 2-1 up in this series. My word. So 3-1 the scoreline in the end that was. We'll make sure to get that inputted right here on our beautiful graphic system made by yours truly, El Zepcastorino. As Fluxx Esports now 2-1 up in this series. Looking increasingly likely to be taking it 3-1. That sentence just did not roll off the tongue. But what we've got here, Fluxx, 1-2 maps, Insufficient Funds, only taking 1. And we're going to be moving on to the Hacienda Hardpoint. Insufficient Funds, if they can take this map, they realize they have a chance in the search and destroy. But it's getting this map that's going to be the hardest thing for them. They're going to really struggle here. But if they could do it, they have a chance. But Fluxx looking to get it all wrapped up so they can move on to the losers final right here tonight, where we will see them play once again at around 10:30, 11-ish, folks. More games coming your way tonight. You're not going to want to miss them, and you're not going to want to miss map number 4, which is going to be coming your way in just a couple moments. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. With map number 4, we are loading very, very quickly into the Hacienda Hardpoint. A massive moment for both of these teams. Can Fluxx Esports buy themselves a ticket to the losers final, or can Insufficient Funds claw their way to the map number 5, where truly anything can happen? So ladies and gentlemen, best of luck to both of these teams, but they won't need luck. They've got skill on their side. Without further ado, folks, here we go, as we're going to begin on board with Lofty. And Lofty's going to be moving up top, it seems, to the right. We'll see if he's going to be able to get a first blood from this. Lenzo is the one that picks up the first blood as he flies towards the hill. And Lenzo just holding now. Eventually taken out by Hectic, who's going to get on the point, try to answer back some of that early time taken by Fluxx. Well, kill's going to come in now for Fluxx. As Salty pick up 2 DB on the time, quickly taken out, but it has to be said, Salty has had an immaculate start. Gonna ride the coattails of another kill there. Eventually going to get taken out by Hectic. Fluxx on the point, but now Insufficient Funds back on it. Now it's about the spawns for P2. Who's got it? Very much looking like it's set up for Fluxx, but Hectic in a good position to flank around. Will it be able to hold? You got Hectic versus Murphy. What will the timing be like? Murphy spotted him round the back. He gets taken out by Hectic. A nade coming around the back, missing him. And he's doing a great job anchoring here. But he's going to have struggle. He's going to have trouble holding the spawns. He's going to get pushed out. He picks up 1. It's a huge moment from here around the point. There's now a huge wave of kills for Insufficient Funds. Salty picking up 1. Salty with the stun. Massive kills already coming through. He picked that up with the pistol and he's holding the back, but Insufficient Funds are holding now. A huge wave of kills. Which way is it going to go? It's looking like Insufficient Funds are going to be able to hold on and have gotten themselves in the lead with that time. Great performance on that point from them. Hectic doing a lot of the hard work at the back of the map, which was instrumental in Insufficient Funds being able to actually get into that point. But now we rotate on to the next point, where as you see, they're pretty set up Fluxx, but you have the flank coming around the back from Hectic, who I think positionally has been the star player for Insufficient Funds so far. How can he make it work? He's been spotted on the cross. He's going to cross back in the hill. Keeping that contest. 3 around points. Salty with 2. Lofty with 1 though. Salty just going to pre-aim. But he's not going to know someone's there, but it doesn't matter. Fantastic kill. 12 and 3. Salty has had a terrific start to this game for Fluxx. What will the timing be like? Not the best, as Hectic comes in and picks up 1, but then the trades are there. Fluxx pick up the 3. And they are on this point. Continuing to rack up this time. This game is neck and neck, but DB now on the spree of 5 before he gets taken out. And Lenzo's not had the best start whatsoever. Insufficient Funds have done a great job of nullifying a lot of key players on the side of Fluxx, but we know it's only a matter of time. But Lenzo getting taken out once again as Murphy picks up 2, trying to pick up the 3rd. He's just going to hold the angle and wait for his team. He's always done such a great job of waiting for his side to come to his assistance. 73 to 68. It's neck and neck as the contest comes in. And for the most part, Insufficient Funds are dealing with it, but Lenzo going huge. Now Murphy on the point. Murphy, though, going to get surrounded by Insufficient Funds. With Salty with 2. It's Salty now on the point. He's going to be able to hold the time, and they're going to get a good bit of time from this as they should have a read of the spawns here. Almost crossed in the hill. Xavi going huge in the hill. Xavi managing to pick up 2 as well. Salty then with 2. Checkerboard a kill feed all around, but it is Insufficient Funds who come out on top of that one. And a bit of scrap are going to be challenged, but barely going to be 10 points in the difference. As we move back to P number 1. A very evenly poised game here. The closest game we've seen so far in the respawns between these two sides. Xavi just pre and top. Fluxx are waiting for their moment. Sometimes Fluxx, they're a little bit slow to get to the point. But of course that's orchestrated. They wait to do it together as a unit because the most time when they play it slower and they wait to go together, it works for them. But 92 to 92. Even Stevens. Who's going to be the team that's going to be able to start chaining together some 60s? Or will it be neck and neck right until the death? Ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are in the chat, make sure to follow if you're enjoying what you're seeing here in the COD Ireland Losers Round 4. Make sure to let us know who you think is going to win in the chat. And if you want involved in COD Ireland activities in the league, Season 2 signups are live. And you can find the link to that over on our Discord and all our other socials, which is pinned in the chat. So do make sure to go check that out. But you're not going to want to miss what we have for you today, because after this game, it's the winners final between Fluxx Esports versus OTG's Billy is Funding, after which the winner of this and the loser of that will face off against each other in the losers final to determine who faces each other in the grand final of Division 1 of the COD Ireland League. Fluxx Esports, they hold on to the point from front. Big wave of kills once again coming in as that kill feed is checkerboarded. Big 2 for Xavi as Lofty with the assistance, but now they have to turn. Do they have a read of the spawns? Fluxx Esports going to be right behind them. Roles reversed, a mirror image of what Insufficient Funds just broke into, as it's once again checkerboarded, and this time it's going to be Fluxx who come out on top, and they're probably going to be able to pick up this scrap. But no, the push from Insufficient Funds, they are going to take that scrap, and it's still only going to be 10 points in the difference as we go back to P3. Lenzo watching over the point. It's Xavi who's gotten around the back now. What will the timings be like? He's on the contest. So Chal for one. His teammate's going to help him with the second. Salty on the point. He's taken out. And this has been a terrific break from Insufficient Funds. That was huge. Breaking through that point well. Lenzo, or Murphy, taking out Lofty. DB on Hectic. A contested point now. Xavi with the hold. Lenzo at 1. DB taking out his teammate, getting a kill in the process. Or I believe that would have been Lenzo again. Codcaster lies, even I forget from time to time. And truly is neck and neck here. Again, if we go to a map 5, the past says that that should very much favour Insufficient Funds to get the shock victory here against Fluxx. However, Fluxx have the chance to wrap it up here in the respawn. They are rotated to the point. Lenzo was on the killing spree of 5 there before being taken out. And a clean 60 from Fluxx at this point would have them within touching distance. We're reaching that crucial stage of the game now. Insufficient Funds, they've been in the lead from time to time, but they haven't stretched the lead, and they kind of need to now, as all 4 Fluxx members are on point. And when it's mattered most, Fluxx have very much locked in here, had a relatively consistent P3, are holding a strong P4, and a game that was neck and neck now, very much looking like it could go over the 200 point mark for Fluxx with Insufficient. Nearly 80 points behind after this hill, unless they can get broken in. But Murphy popping off here on the 8th streak, Hellstorm in hand. And you talk about players having crucial moments for their side. It's Murphy right here, right now, dragging his team through the dirt as he picks up another 1 minute 15 in hill, one off the Merciless. And it's been his time to shine. He gets taken out on the old point, but Fluxx just 2 points off 200. Insufficient Funds need to chain together 2 strong hills here, and it's going to be hard to do in a P1. Just need to make it scrappy. Xavi taken out by Murphy, who's really stepped it up on these last few points. Slim with the multi-kill of 3. Huge moment. Picking up 1. Picking up 2. Last one in the hill. It's Murphy. And he's going to be able to help his team hold on to the scrap. And that is going to be huge scrap as well for his side. They are going to be 80 points in the lead and more going on to the next point. So not only do Insufficient Funds need a clean hold, they need to be able to rotate the P3 well. But Lenzo just got a huge pick as he moves through on the push. DB with 1. Lenzo with the shots in the back. Pinpoint accuracy. The streak coming in. It's Murphy, or it's Salty at the streak as well. Or was it DB? I'm not sure, but the streaks came in and they got the 2 from it. Now they're going to be able to keep Insufficient Funds pinned back. They know where they're coming from. The hold from front. This may be enough for them here. 100 points in the lead. A streak coming in from Lenzo. And they have just locked in. 5 points needed. Insufficient Funds gave it their all. They're on for one last desperate push, but that's a 3 down. They push on to the point. Well, how are the trades going to work? Murphy can't get it. Slim helping his side hold on, but he has no support. The break is in. And Fluxx Esports take map number 4, 250 to 144, and are moving on to the losers final. My word, 250 to 144 in a series, in a map that was so neck and neck, but then Fluxx Esports just locked in and blitzed their way through. Barely 10 points in it until the point that Fluxx Esports just started to turn it up. And one thing that has to be said right here, right now, is that we need to say the most massive of congratulations to Fluxx Esports and huge commiserations to Insufficient Funds, who are a phenomenal roster, played a terrific series, struggled on the hard point, had moments on the control, but played a fantastic S&D. And then the hacienda hardpoint just not going their way until a certain point. But you have to say so much credit for that just has to go to Fluxx in the way that they just turned up when they needed to. Murphy nearly with the merciless, nearly every player picking up streaks. And Insufficient Funds, if they work on their respawn, there's a very, very strong side there. That is for sure. Maybe Vault is not their map, but truly have to say they are a top tier team. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere as we go to a little break to get ourselves set up for game number 2, where Fluxx Esports are going to be facing off against Billy is Funding. Ladies and gentlemen, oh, my voice nearly broke there. Ladies and gentlemen, you are not going to want to miss it as I make sure the graphic is switched. It is awesome. Ladies and gents, we're moving on. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few. And Lofty, by the way, Lofty has just popped in as the first time chat. Appreciate you coming in, Lofty, after that game. What a series.